if you want to sell something, you better make it a no-brainer. Whenever I work with a SaaS business, one of the things that I often see is that the teams that I work with, the product teams, the sales teams, the management teams and so forth, are very concerned with how hard something is to deliver. So it'd be like, oh, that's cost a lot of money, that's really difficult, it doesn't scale well, and so forth. Which means that the offering that they give to their customer actually isn't very good. So what I often tend to do with these teams is I try to shake the tree a little bit and say, hell, how can we create a no-brainer offering that is so insanely good that selling it will be easy? And then once we have that, then we can always scale back a little bit on the delivery. So we might create some sort of a continuum like this. In one option, we have low value, hard to sell, right? So it's like, oh, I have a product, it's sort of good, and I'm give you some services along with it, and I want to sell it to you, but it's really difficult because the value isn't that great. Or I have a really, really high value proposition and offering, and it's really, really easy for me to sell. Whenever you're starting out, and I almost say at whatever stage you're in business, you want to aim for this point, right? You want to just go to the highest value you can possibly deliver, especially if you're not that good yet and you're just starting out in the market. You just want to pour on services, you want to pour on guarantees, you want to pour on anything that will just make it easier to sell. And then once you actually start to see the traction, the sales volume, like people actually saying yes, they're liking it and so forth, you're going to work your behind off in order to actually deliver the value. But then you can start with the volume to get some insight. You can say, oh, I'm actually delivering 10 things and maybe the customers only really value the 8, so I can just cut out the 2. And it's actually as easy to sell, right? Or I can say, well, I'm delivering the 10 things, I can cut out the 2 and I can automate the 5 so that it actually becomes much easier to deliver. So the idea is to start here instead of to start here where you think you can manage it and then slowly work your way up there. So you want to sort of jump this chasm to get to this easy to sell, and then you want to go backwards. So this is the correct direction that you want to go. This is the wrong direction. You don't want to do that. So you want to start at the highest possible value you can imagine delivering to a customer, even to the point where you almost oversell it. You can at least always say, I will do my very best. I will work night and day. We will accommodate all your requests. I'll pick up the phone middle of the night if this doesn't work. Whatever it is. You can always commit to selling something to make it easier to sell, and then you can figure out where you're over-delivering and then create a little bit of friction, a little bit less value. But do it from here, because this is where the volume is. Without sales, you don't have a business, and also, very importantly, you don't have a way to learn. Because with no customers and no sales, you're not making any money, you don't have anything to actually invest into making something better, and also you have a very, very slow learning curve because you don't have a lot of at-bats. You don't have a lot of customers actually using your product, using your service, giving you feedback, and telling you what they want next or what they want different. What would you rather have? The shitty business you have today with the mediocre product and the mediocre service and the mediocre sales, or a really, really high value product with a really, really, let's say, turned on service team that really, really delivers and delights the customers, and a lot of sales, high conversion rate, low sales cycle, lots of money. And when you pose the question like that, almost everyone would say, well, I want the other business. I want the high value one where we really work our asses off in order to deliver to the customer, but they don't do it. They're scared that it doesn't scale, scared that the cost will be too high, scared that something will be X, Y, and Z difficult or hard. Well, that's why you don't have the good business yet. You need to know that this is a deficiency, a lack that you have in something that might maybe just because of where you are right now, but it also might be because of the mindset you have where you're guarded or you're not generous enough, or you're, let's say, you're trying to make a fair or reasonable proposition with your customer saying, well, surely if I do this, then it's only fair that the customer gives XYZ back. Instead of thinking about it the other way and saying, well, if I need a really good business, or if I want a really good business, then I need to make an unfair proposition. It needs to be so obviously to the advantage of my customer that the customer says, well, I get all of that for only this price. That seems like a no-brainer, I'll take it. That's the business you want. So you want to design something that is unfairly good or unreasonably good for your customer so that they take the deal. And then you can always make it easier for yourself later, if that even matters at that point when you have all the revenue, the customers, and the business. Thank you.